Blue Sky Studios made Ice Age. It made $1 billion. Disney bought them, one film underperformed, they shut them down. Welcome to Frankly, let's get into it.
Get off me!
Except four misfits going the other way.
I'm not going.
Before Blue Sky made films, they made visual effects for commercials. M&M, Razor ads, behind-the-scene work that nobody knew their name. 20th Century Fox bought the studio in 1997. By 2000, they had a pitch ready for a family film set in the Ice Age. 9 fully computer-animated films had ever been released at this point. The competition included Toy Story and Shrek. They went ahead anyway. Ice Age was released in March 2002. It cost $60 million. It had $383 million at the box office. Critics gave it a 3 out of 4 stars. Roger Ebert said he loved the wit of the dialogue. From their very first film, $383 million, that is not luck. That is the studio knowing exactly what it is doing. For the next 15 years, Blue Sky consistently made films worth watching. Robots in 2005, Horton Hears a Who in 2008, Rio in 2011, the Peanuts movie in 2015. The Peanuts movie was great, a faithful adaptation that reminded people what the studio was capable of. Critics praised it, audiences loved it. For a moment it felt like Blue Sky had found their way back to what made Ice Age work. They were also releasing Ice Age sequels throughout the entire period. That is where the problem started. Ice Age 2 made $660 million, Ice Age 3 made $886 million, top 100 highest grossing films of the time. The reviews were getting worse with each one. More slapstick, more pop culture references, less of the warmth and wit that made the first film work. Critics were writing things like, and this is a direct quote, "Please let the 5th Ice Age film be the last." The 4th film introduced Drake and Nicki Minaj. Drake voiced a mammoth named Ethan. Box office was still strong, the audience was getting tired, but they're still showing up, and the studio knew it. They released 5 Ice Age films in 14 years, each one slightly more hollow than the last, each one still making hundreds of millions of dollars. The franchise had become a machine, and the machine was running on momentum rather than ideas.
If I manage to get an action figure out of this whole deal, I think that I'm gonna attach it as a pendant on a chain and just get a jeweler to cover it in flawless VVS diamonds, and then I'll just wear it in my next video.
Drake wanted to attach his Ice Age character as jewelry. Wait, that was the creative investment going into Ice Age 4? A pendant. He wanted a pendant. That is what was exciting him about the project. To be fair to Drake, nobody was under any illusion about what Ice Age 4 was. The studio knew it, Fox knew it, the critics knew it, the audience were starting to know it. The question was whether they could find their way back to making something that mattered before it was too late. They were trying. The Peanuts movie proved they still could. Spies in Disguise proved they still could. It was not enough. In March 2019, Disney acquired 21st Century Fox. Blue Sky Studios became a unit of Walt Disney Studios. They had no say in this. They were part of a company that was part of a company that got bought. They were in production on Spies in Disguise at the time, a film starring Will Smith and Tom Holland. It was already being made. It came out later that year under the new ownership. Reviews were strong, one of their best received films in years. Great humor, heartfelt message. It made $171 million at the box office. Under Fox, that would have been a minor setback. Under Disney, which measures everything in dollars, the timing could not have been worse. Disney looked at $171 million and sees a problem. That tells you everything you need to know about Disney. On February 9th, 2021, Disney announced it was shutting down Blue Sky Studios. The reason given was that in the light of the COVID-19 pandemic's continued economic impact, it was no longer sustainable for them to run a third animation studio. Blue Sky has been in business for 34 years. They had made 12 feature films. The franchise had grossed billions of dollars. Wait, they were closed because Disney did not want to run 3 animation studios? No farewell announcement from Disney, no tribute, just the closure notice and date. Chris Wedge, co-founder of Blue Sky, director of the original Ice Age, and the voice of Scrat himself, posted a farewell letter. He wrote that for 34 years, they had reached for something that at times seemed unattainable, like Scrat. He compared the studio's entire existence to a squirrel trying to get his acorn. During the studio's final days, a small team made one last piece of animation. Not commissioned by Disney, not released as a major announcement, just a 30-second video uploaded to an unlisted YouTube channel. It showed Scrat finally catching his acorn. After 20 years, after 5 movies in which he almost got it and never quite did, the last thing the studio ever made was Scrat getting what he had been chasing since the very beginning. The people being shut down made that. Not for Disney. Disney did not ask for it. For themselves, and for the audience that had watched Scrat fail for 20 years. Blue Sky Studios operated for 34 years. They made 12 films. They created characters that a generation grew up with. Disney retained all of their intellectual property. They are making more Ice Age content. Frankly, yeah. See you tomorrow.